2. One question before we start. Do you like count down anchors ever like that? Or people?
Yeah, I like count down from 5 when they're so they can hear the anchor tossing to them, but it's more when they have to start talking in after an interview clip that they got. So they got an interview clip prior, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're really excited to be shaving all these goats for charity." And then right when that ends, I'm like counting down the end of that. So I point at them right when the clip ends, and then they can start talking right after the clip ends because they can't hear the clip, but they can hear the anchor.
Count me in.
5, 4.
Hi, welcome to the show. Welcome to the world's premier video game podcast, the Talking Reckless podcast. My name's Matt Eads, joined by Kevin Byer.
I was going to respond, but then I didn't have anyone counting me in, so I'm just going to pass.
Okay, fair enough. Expert counter, Brandon Lynch. I feel like I thank you. I've never been counted in so professionally.
Yeah, it feels really good to do it. Feels really good to have it done to you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Just like anal.
That's what they call it in the biz when they say, "Yo, give me that anal."
Yeah.
Tell me all about it, Kyle B. The B is for butt stuff. Tell me all about it.
Fuck, I like that we've already established a theme. We're gonna roll with it.
There's in Attack on Titan, or no. What do we call it? He does anime discussion, excellent show.
That's right.
Yeah, he was Kyle Boruto.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Could be Berserk, Kyle Berserk.
That's right. Representing.
Yeah. Kyle B's here, wearing an anime shirt.
Full of monster, ready to punch holes in drywall.
How do we feel about that? Picture tattoo of Ymir on his arm, which weirdly enough came up in our anime discussion. That is like the weirdest fucking coincidence that there's a character in the show, and I'm like, what's that character's name? And he points to the tattoo on his arm. He's like, it's Ymir, the frost giant.
Oh shit!
Like, what? Did you get that tattoo knowing that I was weird?
He just happens to have happens to have a tattoo of everything in existence.
His pants. Goku.
Yeah.
Zip. Welcome back. You decided to join us again.
Yeah, you guys had me back, so glad to be here.
Hey, glad to have you. It's Andy was going to be here tonight. Brandon's filling in for him because Andy, he doesn't have COVID, but someone at his work did.
And I guess they contacted everyone who could have been in exposure to him, and Andy was not one of them.
Yeah.
So odds are he's fine.
Super low.
Yeah.
I'm just the paranoid. The number is the highest it's ever been, and I'm rather be way too paranoid than not enough. So.
And I was like, you guys had you guys had a show before I'd even answered the survey.
That's right.
It was not that I had to step in because Andy was out. It was like, oh yeah, I can also do Friday. So we have 5 of us.
Hell yes. 4-man the dream lives on.
There you go.
Let's talk about. We were talking about Hades before I rudely brought us in here. Because I wanted to get on the show.
As always.
Fuck you.
What a video game, Jonathan. What a goddamn
game.
Incredible.
It's all I want to play.
Where to continue from what we've already said.
Boy, I still haven't beaten a run.
So
it's the hardest video game ever made.
I beat a run, which I don't think I have beaten a run the last time that we podcasted.
Yeah, I think
hope
that's
we
right.
haven't.
Yeah.
Okay. I beat a run using the hazard bomb, which is a modifier of the gun.
Okay.
Where the gun has its special is basically you shoot a grenade up in the air and it does little area of effect damage. And if you get the hazard bomb, which is one of the hammer upgrades, it basically makes it a big wide circle and does 300% more damage, but it'll hurt you if you get hit by it.
Oh, okay.
And I knew after I got that, I think I was about halfway through the boss fight, the Hydra boss fight, watching the health bar that go down. And I'm like, I can fucking do this. My DPS is fucking through the roof right now, and I think there was Hangover on that too. So it was.
Yeah.
So then it was basically just about keeping myself alive, and without getting too into it, because I still don't know how far people is. The last floor is quite different in its layout. I don't know. Have we already talked about that?
I don't know if specifically. Yeah. We
I think we can talk about that,
will.
Right? We're
if you don't
away
want,
from
if you don't
this.
want to hear any Hades spoilers, I think we're far enough in that we can probably talk about most of this stuff.
Right.
Just kind of skip ahead. Here's what I do on my podcast when I talk about games. I don't want to go. I skip ahead and then I listen for a little bit and like, oh no, they said Boon. I gotta go 5 more minutes. Okay, we're good now.
And then you just hope that the thing that you listen for is not like the spoiler
Yeah.
at the end of the game.
Because what are the chances of that? Low enough, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And we won't say anything super key.
No.
But
No.
if you are trying to stay pure on it and discover that stuff organically, you skip ahead a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The last floor is laid out very differently, where it is incredibly small rooms.
Yes.
Yeah. Subfloors, yeah, almost.
And that's kind of at the point where it feels like it is a build breaker, where sometimes it just feels like you've built for this entire game, and specifically I find myself always building to kill Theseus because that guy's a motherfucker. And my hazard bomb was not playing on that final floor.
Yeah, the rooms are probably literally smaller than that
the
area
ring. So
effect.
you can kind of angle it, so like only half the circle was actually in the playable area, and I was trying to do that as much as I could, but it was...
He's got to hit
it
your
was
call
rough.
once on the way down.
And
Use
then-
those iframes.
And then it ended up being like, I can't use this, and I haven't really put a lot into anything else because I've just been dumping everything I could do into the hazard bomb. But I did have the little beam crystal
the cast,
yeah.
so I was just putting those in front of me and kind of hunkering down in a corner. And
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. So I limped out of there, and let me tell you, when I got that last hit and he went down and stayed down, it's just there's no feeling like it.
Yeah. I don't know if I should see. You think I should say that thing you told me about legendaries earlier? Did you want to know how potentially to acquire the legendary boons there's
Sure.
like steps to
You
them?
can tell me anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, this is
I don't
not
know
really,
about the people.
this is like
but-
inside mechanics baseball that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And
Because I think there's a lot of it. There's a lot of
Yeah.
once you figure out how to, you have more control than you might think on what you're getting when you
Yeah.
first start that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, you just kind of have to notice the patterns about why you're getting things because there's certain level of buffs or boons that you can only get if you trade in boons that you already have. So let's say you have the Zeus Chain Lightning on your basic attack. There's then boons that you have to get by trading that for another god's basic attack boon. And then once you make that trade, then certain boons can start showing up.
Gotcha.
oh Jesus,
Yeah.
that's not the legendary
No,
thing.
that's
what,
a different thing.
what the fuck?
Is that the duo thing?
No.
No, it's I think it's certain heroic level buffs boons.
Heroic's the higher one than legendary.
Heroic is lower than
Yeah,
legendary.
legendary's the
Legendary is
highest,
like its
yeah.
own little
Yeah.
weird
One
tier.
Right.
legendary per
Okay.
god,
gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah.
But yeah, the way that you unlock the legendary boons is each god has like a stat kind of thing that's assigned to it. Like so,
Athena has weak, Poseidon has knockback,
Yeah.
Zeus has chain lightning.
Right.
Ares of Doom.
so the legendary boons will always complement what the god is already trying to do. So the way you get the legendary boon is you have to get the tier 1 buff boon of that particular god's ability.
So for Poseidon, it could be add knockback to my dash or
Yep.
my attack. I need something that adds knockback.
Yeah.
Love me a good Poseidon dash.
Then once you have that, there's a tier of boons that unlock because you have a knockback effect. So like knocking something into a barrier.
Oh
does
yeah, I can kind of
400%
see
damage.
that
Yeah.
developing
Or
in
like
front of me.
rupture.
Yeah.
Every time you knock him back, it puts that dot on him.
Yeah.
So then you need to pick up one of those boons, and then once you have the combo, the tier 1 and the tier 2, every chance that you get a future boon has a chance to be legendary.
Well, hot damn.
Yeah.
That
what color is
explains why
legendary?
I got that knockback boon today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bright, like bright orange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might have, Poseidon might have given you one about fishing. The only one I've seen was about fishing.
Yeah, okay.
Very first thing in a run.
That one's I'm pretty sure that one's a story one because I got a very first thing in a run too at one point.
I can fish.
It'll be a boon about fishing.
A boon about
and
fishing?
you'll be
Yeah.
like, okay.
Sweet.
It was exactly what I did.
I think that's just the sell.
I just wanted to suicide in this run, start over and get a real boon.
You should call this episode a boon about fishing.
Yeah,
you
go.
that's not bad at all. We got to
It's
work
like a
in
memoir.
here somehow.
Matt Eads is a boon about fishing.
That's my Hades tell-all.
Yeah.
But incidentally, I had a run today that was killed by picking the wrong boon. I had an ability. No, it was one of the hammer upgrades. At the very end, you know how there's the store in Act 4? Mm-hmm. One of the things that you can buy in the store is lose a random hammer
Yes,
upgrade
I
and
did
get
that
2
today.
new
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
So I did that, and one of the ones it gave me was something good happens, but you also have minus 20%, 25% range on your dash.
It triple attacks. Your dash attack hits 3 times.
Yeah, okay, dash
It
attack hits
actually
3 times.
told you the good thing that happens.
No, this was after I'd clicked it.
Yeah,
Right.
he went into his inventory.
But
after
it's not like
and
it said something good happens.
It,
You just
No,
couldn't
it
remember
says
what
you
the
lose something.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't
Game
remember
this,
what it
game
was.
this.
I didn't
Gotcha.
remember what the
Yeah.
good thing was.
Right.
I only remember the bad thing.
That was it
because
seems like a very roguelike thing to do, where it's like something good happens, and I'm like, fuck, I need that.
I do need something good to happen. But I only had 2 dashes because I didn't pick any Hermes up for the entire run. No bonus dashes, and physically with the minus 25% range, I was not able to dash out of Hades' attacks.
Well, that's unfortunate.
So
You're fucked.
that run was just absolutely done.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
I had what I was so sure was the run of just like, man, it was like I was like, I'm killing these bosses in like 3 hits. I fucking got this. Where I had a bunch of Ares buffs like Doom. A thing that made Doom every time you apply it ticks again and again and again, like for more damage and whatever. And I had it all on that Blitz disc, so I'd throw the disc and
That's one of my jams.
doom doom doom
Yeah.
doom 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 every 0.2 seconds or whatever. And like, man, with just the run made it to Hades, and he just like 2-shot me, and like it took like 2 bad hits immediately and just died. I was like, fuck God.
Yeah. I love
hits like a
that
truck.
I'm
Blitz
never gonna
disc.
beat it.
That Blitz disc against Theseus is like, it's my fucking jam now, because you can just throw it out there and he'll block that first one, but then it'll get like on top of him and just start carving him up, and I'm like, yes, fuck you. I hate him.
It's such a good game.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna go home and play it after this podcast.
There's only 2 hammers per run, it seems like.
Seems like that's the
Yeah.
max.
Is
that true?
Yeah.
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 Really?
And then,
I didn't. I've
but
never noticed
that I
Either
think
get
that one
one
that
or
you
2.
bought is a third
Yeah.
Yeah.
like thing, but it seems like there's one in. For me, it feels like they always show up in the first place and the third place.
I know the. No, I guess that's not true. Never mind. Never mind. Sometimes the last room before the boss has certain configurations that I can't remember now. It's always a shop and a heart, or
Yeah, and if you go into the one that isn't the shop, it's usually just an empty room with the item.
yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
usually don't have to fight through that last room,
Empty
no
room
matter
or
what
a
it is. You can
boon
either take the
sometimes.
shop and go shop, or you can go into the other room and just get the thing and keep moving.
Yeah. Such a good game. Oh my goodness.
It gets better
Yeah.
and better the more you start to like find the way it's built.
Yeah.
And they obviously won't get into it for Matt's sake, but there's something that they layer on top of it after you've had that first run that allows you to kind of play with the mechanics a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah.
about that?
Not specifically.
Not? Okay,
Not
then we won't
specifically,
get into
but
that.
yeah,
Loosely.
loosely. I've sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Persephone's. Wasn't Persephone a goddess in? Am I misremembering? Because in this story, she's apparently immortal. Am I totally misremembering? Is Persephone not a goddess in?
She was
mythology?
always she was a half and half, I believe.
Yeah. Did she not literally like?
Mortal
bring-
I didn't kill her in
Father-
God of War.
Did she not literally bring the spring? She went down to Hades and had to count pomegranate seeds or something, and then came back up and spring was here, and then she does the winters in Hades, and that's why it's so fucking cold.
Maybe
Hades.
That-
I
that-
thought
that
it was hot in
seems-
Hades, so
seems
you
right
lost
about
me
it.
a long
I'm
time
still
ago.
catching the story beats.
No, I don't mean in this game.
Right.
I mean
Yeah,
in general
in Greek
mythology.
mythology?
Yeah,
I
Greek
have
mythology.
no clue.
I only know like really the A tiers and a couple of the B tiers for the Greek mythology.
You say you didn't kill her in Hades in God of War,
Yeah.
because she was in that sarcophagus. Remember, she's in 3, and you break down into Hades. You gotta
Yeah.
all I remember is you grab onto the sarcophagus with her, and it's
Oh,
like,
yeah!
and fling it through something. She's like that.
I do
preserved-
remember that now.
Yeah, she's that preserved person. Hades is keeping her down in Hades or something.
Fuck, God of War 3 is a fucking banger.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's very dude bro machismo. It's got a sex mini
Yes.
game in it. So I mean, what are we
That's
doing?
what I
But
was-
it's also
I think the
very
whole
good.
trilogy does, doesn't it?
Yeah, the original. What a series! Any closing thoughts on Hades here that we all played,
Oh,
other
yeah.
than?
Yeah.
God damn, is it maybe one of the best games this year?
Finally
Fun
dabbled
word.
outside of the sword.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am now taking the Kyle path of like I can't beat a run, so I'm only gonna. I've started to ignore the like 20% thing. I'm like fuck this, I am a blitz disc player. Let's
Right.
do this thing.
That's kind of how I got when I was trying to get my first run. Well, not really with the weapon, but I was trying to upgrade all my artifacts that I got, whatever they're called, that the gods give you that you can kind of select from.
Heirlooms.
Heirlooms. And then I got to a point where I'm like, okay, fuck this. I'm using the fucking tooth. I'm fucking taking the tooth on every run until I beat this thing, because boy, did I need the fucking tooth.
Yeah, I got a lot of good tips here today. Even just upstairs watching Kev play, learned about a good heirloom that I need to get that I think will really help.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have all the heirlooms unlocked?
No,
Not yet. No.
I'm
I don't.
missing
I never.
one.
I never go get the nectar. So then whenever I show up with some new character, I'm like, I don't have anything for you.
There's a nice perk that will make nectars more appealing for
Right.
you.
Yeah, and I had a couple runs where I got the. I don't remember whose boon it was, but it's the one where I think it's an Aphrodite one, where when you get the nectars, you get
20
plus
health.
25 health or whatever it is. Those ones are pretty good.
Dionysus, maybe?
Maybe
There's a couple of
Dionysus,
them
yeah.
that do that actually.
And they give you
Dionysus
one-
and Aphrodite.
They give you one right off the hop
Yeah.
too, so that
Yeah.
starts looking pretty good if you're not having a great run.
I've realized there are a couple boons that are like exactly the same. Like Aphrodite and Athena both have a take 10% less from enemies. And then there's a duo that is take 10% less only from bosses that seem, like I guess you could stack them up, but it just seems objectively worse than having both of those.
The only one that I've ever taken like that was Athena. She gave me 90% resistance to traps.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is
that's a good one.
I
fucking step in a lot of traps.
I never ever take it because I'm always like, I'll just not step in the traps, and then I always step
step
into
in
all
the
the
traps
fucking
too,
traps.
yeah.
Oh
Does
my
poison
goodness.
count as a trap?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure. I don't think
I don't
so.
know.
If it
actually.
did,
That's
Oh,
maybe.
I'd fucking get that every run.
But yeah, you should probably start picking up nectar because there's a couple people that you'll want to give gifts every time you see them.
Yeah.
I maxed out Charon because I thought he would give me a discount at the shop.
That's what I was doing.
And
I've given him like 5 nectars
Good
to him.
brother.
Did you forge a
Charon.
bond? I had a specialist like, you forged a bond with Charon, and as far as I can tell, he was like, and I'm like, fucking hey, buddy.
No, he
You
seems
and me.
to like me the same amount, if not less, than the first time I ever met him. So,
Yeah, I don't know, still, I haven't figured that one out, but
No.
we have a bond.
Yeah.
come on.
We're very special. He's special to me. Yeah.
So Brando won with the railgun.
Didn't shoot the primary fire once, I don't think.
Rail of
Kyle,
Academy.
what have you won with?
I've beat it with the gun.
This
shield.
is the big. This is even a humble brag. This is just
Sword
a
and the
fucking
gauntlet.
brag.
This is Kevin being like, count me in.
Yeah.
Count me into what I have to say.
5 out of 6 I've beaten it. I haven't beaten it with the spear yet.
Oh yeah,
Kevin, how many have you beaten it with?
I've beat it with all of them.
Oh, okay. You motherfucker.
I'm on heat 3 with the gun.
Yeah.
Got a couple extra kills with the gun.
Fuck.
The gun seems the easiest to break.
It does.
Yeah.
And you're only on like you're under sub 30 runs apparently somehow.
Yeah, I beat.
That's
Like a madman.
insane.
I think I beat it on 29.
Yeah, I got my last gun win, or my last weapon win was around 25.
Your last weapon win?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm on
That
like
is truly crazy.
57 runs.
I've intentionally tanked a few just to get the reset because I've gotten to a few where I've gotten near the end. And I'm like, it's just not popping. There's no way I'm going to beat Hades. I'm just going to throw myself in the lava. Let's just whoosh, take from the top here. But I think I'm on like 26, and I've not finished a run. The game's impossible.
It's fucking hard.
You're getting up to the run count where you're going to get the first run.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was about 30, 31. You're at 29.
I was 29.
Yeah.
If you want a free win,
I do not.
well, I mean it's not a free win, but
Hazard
it's
bomb.
pretty good.
Just the gun in general.
Give Ares a nectar so that you can get his trinket, his heirloom.
Yeah, okay. I've given all the main gods one. I think I probably have
Yeah,
it.
and then just use the railgun and get Doom on your basic attack, and you're fine.
What is his heirloom?
Just gives better chance of getting Ares
Just
buffs.
guarantees
and
you
doing
and
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually exactly my plan. Except I want it on the Blitz disc because that thing just goes tick
Yeah,
tick 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 tick.
whichever
Yeah.
one you want it on.
But
But
yeah.
yeah, Doom is so unbelievably powerful.
Or I was Doom or Hangover, one of the two. Because I've seen some Hangover buffs that seem like you can stack them in ways that it gets pretty.
Hangover's good, but
Bonkers.
it's just like a couple Doom buffs, and you can. I think I had one run where I was doing 487 damage with every Doom hit.
Damn, my big one I was doing over 500, and I just got fucking insta gift
Yeah,
because I suck. But also I learned how to block those. Man, blocking. Oh, let me tell you about blocking.
Yeah, the shield's
Oh!
really good. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good life.
I never do the shield charge. That's like my thing.
it's
That
part of
I'm
blocking.
always throwing the disc out, and
the first step
I
to
always get to
blocking.
like halfway through like the third area, and I'm like, oh right, I can put the shield up as a shield.
Yeah. It's like some of those boss fights and the bullet hell parts. You can just sit in the corner and just hold block and just go ding, 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 ding.
I like the thing that we get the projectile. Instead of moving me, it shoots the projectile out of that shield when you do the
the
block,
hammer thing.
the bull rush.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a, I think it's a hammer thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
a
it just
hammer
shoots a
upgrade.
beam out instead, and you get to stay where you are.
I've never picked
Cool.
that one.
I never
should.
picked that one either. Yeah.
I like it because it's like you said, you can kind of huddle down in the camera, but I feel like where that always breaks for me is when I go shooting out of the corner, and then everyone's like, "Get behind him! He's fucked."
The shield,
Defenses are down.
the shield run that I won on, I had the chaos shield, and my dash to shield throw did 200% more damage, and because you could
Fuck.
chaos disc with 2 discs,
Yeah.
that was
It starts at 2
Yeah.
discs.
Yeah.
Seems like it might add a disc every time you buff it up.
yeah.
Fuck. That's
Can
what
you
I should
imagine?
do. I
Yeah,
just have the
started-
one where I throw the one and then call it back.
I started
Captain
trying.
America.
I wish you could. I wish there was a way to sample those weapons. I don't know. As someone, Titan Blood seems far away for me. I have all I am gonna get until I finish a run. And,
Yes,
and
there's a
get
moment
through
where
it.
you're
Yeah.
like, I have to be so careful with this
Yeah.
because there's only so much in the game, and then once you clear it, all of a sudden you're like, it's everywhere. There's
Yeah,
Titan blood
I'm just at
everywhere.
that point where I don't have any more, but I
Right.
I want to try them for the spear, or like I want to try a thing on the gloves. Like I wish I had a way to try them before I committed that
Yeah.
stuff. But
Alas,
alas, what a game, Hades.
it's a great game.
Oh,
Fantastic.
oh, even the story. I'm starting to get a little interested in it.
One might say one of the best 2 games of the year.
That's an easy number 2.
What's the other one? Destiny? What do we?
Yes. It's always Destiny's a game of all games.
Yeah. What else y'all been playing? Who wants the Kyle? You're on the top of the sheet. What do you got on here?
Just more Battlegrounds. More Dark Souls
3
PvP.
Fulton Ravioli.
Trying, yeah. I got caught up in a streamer's world the other day and had some antics with him.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently he was recording a video, so it was pretty funny to get in there.
Did you give him the business or what? Did you make him look good?
Oh no, I was the guy in the background clapping him on, doing the point down when they were getting the kills.
Oh, nice. That's a good. It's tough to be a
pretty
good
fun.
audience member. You know?
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
be.
You
It
need
was
those
just the
people.
cheer squad.
The world needs more of those people.
Hell yeah. That's what it's,
But he was trolling people in his own world. He was summoning people. Do you remember in the painted world when people have to slide down that ice slope?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was at the bottom of there with a great club and one shot hit kill build. So as soon as they slid down, he just wound up and just killed
because
them.
you're sort of like stuck for a couple seconds as
Yeah.
your character picks himself up.
Yeah,
That's Dark Souls PvP. Like that's like what do you? That's the game. That's it's fucked up like that. I know, but that's what it
there's
is.
unique stuff you can do with it, but
Yeah. There's like so in Dark Souls when someone invades, to the invader the enemies are not hostile. The invader's treated like an enemy to the player, so invaders can just run past all the enemies.
Yeah.
There's an item.
This is like Gambit in Destiny.
Yes,
Trust
yes,
me.
yes.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was,
Yes.
when you
You're
said
right.
Gambit, I was like, actually, he throws
What's
the
Gambit?
cards.
like thinking what I'm going through what
okay,
game mode
okay.
that was because there's so many.
It's true.
There's an item that you can use in your world that will briefly make all the enemies hostile to the invaders, which is like a really weird thing. So invaders, you'll occasionally just randomly use it, and someone will die because they'll just be like, not paying attention and running through the stuff, and like. The game is so fucking weird in so many ways like that. Where like Kyle and I were playing one time and we just turned into trees and just fucking stood around in like these. They look like real trees in the world if you don't move.
Yeah.
And we just stood there like trees for a while and like tried to stealth this guy out and like it's such a weird thing.
It's great.
I wonder if they're gonna bring any of that stuff to Demon's Souls. I wonder if they're gonna
I
bring
hope
like
so. That's the stuff that makes it last long.
Yeah.
Like it really brings out the longevity of it because people are still PvPing to this day with like 3,000, 4,000 hours in Dark Souls, and
It's so wild
What
to
the
me.
hell?
It's so wild.
Yeah.
It's like the people who play. It's like a niche. It's like Arma 3 players or like people who have racing wheels for Gran Turismo. Or something.
Yeah,
it's,
exactly.
it's a world I just can't. I appreciate, but can never. I dip my toes in from time to time, but
Mm.
yeah.
They're all so good. Even if they're welcoming, it's just like, you seem like a very nice person, but you're just throttling me at this game every
Yeah,
time I try and
yeah.
join.
and it's all so counterintuitive. It's like, okay, now so you got to lock on this guy, and then you're gonna roll through him, then you hit backwards. You got to unlock while you're rolling, and then you got to attack because that's to make you jump back, and that's what we call folding a ravioli. And like it's so fucked, man. From top to bottom, if you really want to get in there and play it, and like everything with the net code to you're doing like these things, you're like a ping test you do to see how your connection is, and then you play based on the delay you perceive, and like
Yeah, it's a lot of a lot of people play it. A lot of new people when they play Dark Souls, they play it reaction based. When you're playing PvP, you can't do that because it's peer to peer. Your connection's just shit. You have to be thinking like, what swing am I going to do next? Or, okay, he just swung twice. I'm going to throw out a parry because he's probably going to swing a third time and catch that parry.
Yeah.
Stuff like
It's
that.
mind games.
It's wild. Yeah, it's literally mind games at points,
Like,
you know?
watching the very high level players play it, it is 100% like chess, where they're just throwing out moves that are whiffing, and they're like, I thought he was going to roll here, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
You have to think literally a second, whatever your lag is, into the future. Like, man.
Like Goku fighting Hit.
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
gotta
exactly.
turn off your mind.
Channel that
anticipate.
Ultra Instinct.
Yeah. I heard you hit 3K in Battlegrounds.
I did.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Why don't you ask me what I...
Here we
I
go.
heard a man hit a nice
6,000.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, out of the baby ladder. There's no more floor under me. Well, there is one at 6K, but that's the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas before that, you can only fall in 500s. Right,
Yeah.
I think.
500 was the increments.
Oh, is it 500?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So like can't go below 5,500 or whatever. It's a heck of a thing. Did you watch that new? Anyone watch the fall reveal? We don't really play Hearthstone here, but anyone see the what's it called? Duels? The new mode?
Duels isn't. I have no idea what it is.
So, boy, I hope I'm doing this right. So you go in and you pick a hero and a hero power, I think, and I think they might have their own special dual hero powers. I'm not sure. And then you build a starter deck from starter cards, but from your collection. So there will be a list of like approved cards, and they are just all basic starter cards. You build your deck, and then you go in, and it's I don't know how many losses you can take, but it is a win until you lose X. Maybe just one. Maybe it's only one loss, and every time you win, you are adding. They said themes. You're picking a theme set out of 3. It seems like to add. So it seems like I think there's something like some magic maybe where you'll get like beasts, demons, or mechs, and then you'll pick one and add it to your deck. And again, I don't know if it's racist. I don't know what the themes are or like what that even means. But it sounds like you're picking packs of cards to add to your deck, and then as you go, you win rewards. And I think it has a buy-in like arena style, maybe like the free-to-play currency. It seems weird. It seems like a mode where you don't know the cards to play, which is the Hearthstone I enjoy because of the part where it's like I spent $4,000 and just am better than you.
Pay to win is never a feel good.
Yeah, but it seems kind of interesting. I don't know. It's gonna have its own separate rating system apparently. It's no Battlegrounds, I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
When does Battlegrounds come out of beta?
Never.
Never.
Who knows?
Yeah.
2022 or something like that.
The only reason I looked at that fall reveal thing was to see if they had any Battlegrounds news, and I didn't see any, which sucked.
What's your rating, Kev?
What's your rating, Kev?
72 something.
Coming for you.
I've been dumping rating nonstop. I haven't played in a couple days.
Yeah.
I was up
MMR's
to like
bouncing out.
76 or so.
Heater's over, Kevin.
And then I just started dumping. So
I was just saying, I got up to like 32 and then just went.
It's
2
streaky.
losses.
It's exactly like poker, where it's like you kind of trend vaguely horizontally, and then you win 4 or 5 in a row and shoot way up.
yeah.
I'm on an absolute heater. I've played Reg or Jandis for like 7 games in a row.
Reg's still broken.
Can't lose.
Still broken.
Baby.
What do you start at?
0
now. Yeah, and then you got you get like 300 points per win on your way up, and then it kind of balances out to I get about 100. It seems 100 seems to be the win loss.
I'm a 0.
Yeah, it's on phones. Anybody can play.
Sure.
Who doesn't love it?
Yeah, it's free.
The only thing is, how long are the games? Like maybe 20 minutes? 25?
Yeah, 20-25 minutes.
Yeah,
or
they're
I have to have my phone
win
plugged
it.
in for that.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
they're a bit long for like, I'm on the bus or whatever.
Sure.
No other games, Kyle?
Nope, that's about it. Installed some Destiny after Brando talked about it.
Hell yes.
Loaded
Another
into the
Revolution.
tower and then looked at my quest log and I was like, holy shit.
It's fucked.
mean,
I was there. I
I
remember.
right back off.
See you in December.
Yeah,
exactly.
You very much have to like make use of those side tabs
Yeah.
because I had like 90% of my quests were in like the playlist, which are basically like just kill people with this gun in Crucible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like every different gun has its own, and every different mode has its own set of guns you can do it for. And I was just like, okay, never look in this quest page
Yeah.
because that's fucking insane. So then it was very much like
You have to like close your eyes because you have to scrub through it to get to another menu.
yeah. So then it was very much like it's divided up into the Shadowkeep stuff. So we're like, yeah, let's bang that off first. That's the stuff I care about.
Yeah.
Then there's the seasonal stuff, which is the the quests that pertain to the season we're in now.
Story quests.
Not as much. The Shadowkeep stuff was story
The main
stuff,
story
and then
stuff,
the
yeah.
seasonal stuff is there is one little story quest, but a lot of it is just like get your however many Crucible kills for the season and get your however many and then it's divided up into exotic quests, which will give you an exotic gun, and past quests, which I'm completely ignoring really, quests from past expansions and everything. I think those are going away, so who's to say.
Hopefully a lot of it.
I'm at
is going
1040
to-
now, which means I can do like a lot more shit, which is good because I was getting real bored of the shit I was doing.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
What's the cap right now?
So I think it's 1060,
Oh shit.
but there's
You're
there's
just a
more.
raid away, it
It's
sounds
a very
like.
complicated question because I saw a guy in the Crucible that was like 1080 something, and then I looked online and they're like the cap is 1060, but if you have like there's a seasonal thing that you can level up as well.
Oh.
No.
And then I think when the
Artifact,
season ends, it'll go back. Like you'll just lose all those levels.
Yeah.
that you went up
Gives you
over
like
the cap.
plus 20
Yeah.
light or whatever in the
Right.
season. I see.
So I think that's what's going on there. So
Kind of the Paragon levels of Diablo
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a lot of fun. We started fighting champions for the first time, which are like enemies that they put in strikes or in nightfall strikes that need specific mods on your gun
Yeah.
to stop them from doing whatever the fuck they're doing. Like there's barrier champions, which once you get them down to half health, they put up this barrier and heal themselves. And if one of the people on your fire team doesn't have barrier ammo, then you're fucked.
Yeah.
Is that's not like void or
No,
that's
so
its own
that
thing.
stuff's also
yeah.
so there's the kind of shield matching aspect, which has always been there, which is
The
if an
three
enemy has a
elements
red
or whatever.
shield, you want to use red powers or red ammo
Yeah.
against them.
Fire. It was like literally
Yep.
fire or
it's fire or it's
what is
solar
blue?
is the actual
Sorry,
technical
yes,
term.
thank you.
Arc
And
is
void.
blue and void is purple, and that's just matching whatever the color is.
Yeah.
And then this is a little more complicated because it's kind of based on name recognition and kind of what abilities they're doing. But like I said, there's the barrier one where as soon as they put their barrier up to heal, if you shoot them with your barrier, your gun with the barrier mod on it, then it'll break the shield and then you can finish them off. Or there's unstoppable guys that basically just come at you. Like they never stop. They're usually like ogres and shit, powerful enemies. And they just keep coming at you and shooting, and you can't stagger them at all unless you have they're called unstoppable rounds. They should be called stoppable rounds.
More like
Yes.
Call them flories.
And those kind of have like a specific way you have to shoot them. Like as soon as you aim down sights, you wait a Mississippi and your gun will glow, and then you just shoot one round into them and it like stuns them. So
Weird.
it's another like fun, not rock paper scissors, but like match, like calling out like, okay, we got enemies with blue shields over here.
Yeah.
You take care of them because you got the blue gun. There's enemies with barrier over here. You take care of him because you got the barrier gun, and it's just kind of managing all that. That's when
Yeah.
Destiny is the most fun.
Yeah.
So-
A little coordination.
Forces
was
those
even-
fire team engagements. Yeah.
And maybe this will segue into what you're about to talk about, but it is those mechanics of like those matching mechanics and communicating mechanics that lend themselves really well to raids and stuff that
I love
are why I
raids.
play Destiny. It's not you have to keep replaying the same stuff over and over again, and people are like, why would you do the strike different, or why would you do the same strike every single week or whatever it is? And it's like, well, you see, every week then they change like what damage type is better, and they put different enemies in it, and it makes it feel very different even though you're running through the same level.
Yeah.
So if you're into it, it feels like more than just replaying the same thing, even though you're kind of just replaying the same thing.
If anyone who's any rating experience,
Yeah.
it has always been, every week let's do the fucking same thing.
Right.
Over and over and over and
we'll just
over.
like put some different modifiers on it, or
If you played World of Warcraft, you didn't even get different modifiers. You just did the same fucking shit every single week.
Hopefully faster, but yeah, that's
Usually
kinda
not.
all you're hoping for.
Because all the good players are like, I'm not doing the same shit again.
Yep.
You want to talk about Ghosts
Let's talk about Ghost.
of Tsushima? I played a bunch of that co-op Legends mode. Bunch. Got a legendary
Did you
katana.
play a bunch the day that I didn't play with you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm level.
I'm well behind now.
I'm just under 90. I'm like 89 or something.
Shit. What was I? Do you remember?
maybe in the 40s or something like that.
Fucking
I
burnt
think we were like
past
46
for sure, yeah.
it goes pretty fast.
Yeah.
Found a legendary katana. It's got
Oh,
all the
shit.
fucking modes
All
on it. It's got all the
modes.
modes.
You don't even need me.
I don't even need you.
You're playing regular Ghost of Tsushima now.
Yes. Oh, I haven't. So I got it and I haven't played yet, but
Yeah.
I feel like I am now going to be unstoppably strong. So the co-op Legends, the Legends mode, it's online co-op. There's two different modes. There's a story mode, which is 2 players, which Brandon did a bunch of. There's a survival wave mode, which is 4 players, which we did a little bit of.
They both seem good.
Yeah, that the story stuff, like Destiny, they lay out kind of color matching mechanics. There is a raid, is not in yet, but in the story I'm trying to remember what they're called. Attunements?
Attunements.
Maybe, yeah, different attunements.
You have to attune your sword, yeah.
Where yes, you either find the spirit bow, which is this, it is like the bow. You shoot them, and it'll. Boy, where to start? Sorry. So I guess
Start with the colors.
Yeah, I guess if, there are 3 colors: red or orange, blue, green.
Yeah.
If an enemy has orange, you can still do. If they have any attunement, you can still do damage, just not very much.
Yeah.
And then if you hit them with their matching color, if I go and there's a thing I can make my sword orange.
It's basically like fires in shrines located around the level that you can run and be like, I'm going to dip my sword into this and make it a green sword.
Yeah.
And now I can fucking do proper damage to the green enemies.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, it's a little bit more than that. I'm going to hit an enemy with an attunement, and it's going to make the attunement go away for a while.
Right.
So my allies can do damage too.
So then anyone can do it.
So you can totally see in the raid where it'll be like, oh, here's one of each color, and you all got to pop them for everybody else and keep the shields down, basically.
And then they introduce the bow, and the bow is like level specific places. Like they put it where they want you to have it. You can't get the bow whenever you want. And the bow basically will take out anyone's attunement,
Any color. Yep.
with one shot. And if your teammate shoots them at roughly the same time, they give you a little bit of leeway. Then it will also stun them and kind of knock them to like a down state where if you're close enough, you can run up and get a assassination or a critical hit, depending on how powerful they are.
Their attunement won't come back on.
And their attunement won't
That's
come
right.
back
The other guys, the attunement, the shield kind of goes away and then comes back, and you got to pop it again, and it goes away and comes back.
So the bow seems almost overpowered in a way that it was very fun to use, because it would always be like, we're fighting our fights, and then Matt would be like, let's get the blue guy, and I'd be like, okay, I gotta just find enough time to launch an arrow off at that guy while he's just shooting an arrow at him. But it felt like after they did the like kind of introduce the colors and the sword changing color mechanics, they like never made us do that again.
Yeah.
They're just like, take a bow. There's always a fucking bow.
We do still have 2 levels left, so I
true.
wonder if they will get into that
dump
stuff
that back
there.
in, yeah.
And I can totally see it in the raid where like, oh, one character has the bow or something, you have to call out, be like, I need you to shoot this guy for me over here, and like
I almost feel like the bow should have ammo.
yeah, it's got a cooldown right now, so
Right, but it's very quick.
it's true. All that stuff might change. I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
But those are and I guess they also set up a mechanic where enemies are linked, and you got to kill them both within a certain amount of time of each other, or they revive one another.
Right. That's a fun mechanic too.
Yeah, and then they have a little bit of a story built where they're kind of you're just going through levels, killing dudes.
No idea what's happening.
No, neither do I.
I want to like be clear that I really enjoyed my time playing the story mode.
Yeah.
But if you ask me one thing about what's happening in there, I'd be like, I don't know.
But-
You're in like the world of the dead now. Like it's not Tsushima that you played in the single player. It's like
floating
there's
blocks
ghosts
and like
everywhere
weird like
and-
beating giant hearts in the
and
distance.
I think it's implied that you guys are
literal ghosts.
Literal ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like playing in the underworld,
And you're
or
fighting
dead realm,
Oni,
or,
and
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very neat.
Yeah, it looked really fun.
So there are 4 classes. They all have I always call it an ultimate. They all have a like super ability that costs 3 resolve, and then they all have a kind of a class ability,
unique class
that
ability,
you can swap between 2 of them. I don't need to go too much into it, but there's a progression there. It's you're making some choices. Everybody's I've noticed the last one of the last tree things. Everybody's final thing is equip an additional legendary item. So I assume you can equip 1.
Oh, okay.
And then the weapons you're bringing in, they're gear slots. They all feed into a number. It's the key number. Some classes have specific, like the Ronin has bombs that they can throw instead of using the bow, and there are some specifics. But until I found this legendary katana, which I've not used, your katana you're bringing, because Ghost of Tsushima has 4 combat stances. It has kind of rock, paper, scissors for enemies. So if there's a shield enemy, you got to use the shield, it's the water stance against it. If there's a brute, you got to use the moon stance. But your katana you're bringing only had 1 stance. So it was like this interesting dynamic of like, I fought sword guys from Here to Kingdom Come in the single player. They're your basic bread and butter. They're the easiest to kill. But because I don't have the sword stance on this particular katana, I have to like perfect counter parry them to kill them. And like it made this weird kind of...
You realize like how hard it is to kill those enemies if you don't have the proper stance. Because you get into... or at least I did. I'm sure you can kind of bang your head against it too. But when I was playing the single player mode, I got very good at the process of like killing a guy, and then while the kill animation's going, switching to my next stance because the next guy coming up was a shield guy or whatever. And as soon as they take that away from you, and it's just like everyone's going to be a bitch to kill except for the guy you have the stance from, you're like, oh man, maybe this game was hard if you didn't just have access to all those stances almost right from the beginning.
And it like made me appreciate the particular moves of the combat. I think is way better when you are forced to... Like, I'd use that moon stance, which is the brute one, against everybody. And you learn, like, okay, this kick works against the shield. I can kick him back, and he staggers a bit. Like, I appreciate the nuance of that combat way more now that I've been forced to, like... Moon stance ended up being my go-to, because you could fucking sweet chin music people, which was really strong, it turned out. And so I found I found my first legendary, a legendary katana, and it has all the stances. It is the single player sword where you can switch between all four.
That's fucked.
And that feels like the single most powerful ability I will ever fucking get. Yeah.
Like, I wasn't kidding when I said you don't even need me anymore, because it's like, now you're me from the single player mode, where you're like, send them all.
1000%.
Come one, come all. I can take you all just by switching my stances.
And just like single player, you got like ghost weapons that you are, it's all the single player ones, the smoke bomb, the kunai, the... I don't
Explodey
even remember them all. Explodey bombs, I think, might be specific to Ronin or something, but it's good. It is that single player Ghost of Tsushima combat. It runs really well. Like, I think because it's smaller areas and like Brando said, it doesn't have the whole world it's trying to load in for those fast travels.
It seemed like they were really trying to keep that world as loaded in as they could during the single player, because you could go to any icon on the map and it would load in 3 seconds.
Yeah. It's really good. It's really good. The combat is so fucking fun to play, and I think it super excels in that kind of hard raid setting. Yeah. It's very good. I got to hit 90 and get ready for the raid.
90's a raid?
I think so. It says it's like 90 to 110.
So are you just running the survival mode now over and over?
Yeah. It might be... So survival gives rewards up to 90, it says, for the highest difficulty. And then there's something called Nightmare, which I think is survival plus like modifiers.
Sure.
Like the Night Falls, I think, in Destiny. And that might get you up to raid level. I'm not really sure, but I think...
What is raid level? 100?
I think you can get in at 90, and it gives rewards up to 110. Might be what it is.
And is there a time frame on when the raid is coming out, or?
I don't think so. I remember looking it up. We could check. I'm not going to.
Good.
I don't think so.
Fuck that.
It's a fact-based podcast.
That's right.
It's
Kevin's fault for asking.
Yeah. How dare you? Yeah, really enjoying it. More than the single player. Playing with your friends is fun. Everyone, the flutes sync up like I wanted, and it's very obvious that there's more than one flute playing, and everyone can walk around real slow and play their fucking flutes and do the side.
Everybody.
Yeah, do the side swipes where you like, everybody puts their sword away, all like synced up, and it's fun. Even the cosmetics I think are super fun.
Yeah, the customization looked really cool.
It's very dope.
It's going to be interesting at Game of the Year, because I think that game was going to be a game that we complimented, and then we're like, it's not anywhere near the top 5 games of the year. And then this mode at least will maybe get it to the conversation.
Yeah.
Because I put a lot of hours into Ghost of Tsushima and finished it and platinumed it, and I wasn't even ready to be like, yeah, it's one of the best 5. So, but playing that with you, I was like, man, and they got a good multiplayer mode? This is a fucking good game.
It's cool. Like, maybe this was even on the podcast. You likened it to The Last of Us multiplayer, where it's like this weird thing that the people who are super into it are super into it. Actually, I think you were talking about Dark Souls.
Yeah.
But totally applies to this too. And like, it's an interesting... You could probably make a whole game of this. You could probably flesh it out a bit and maybe have a little single player, but like 4-player kind of Dark Souls Sekiro combat.
And we were
dope.
Even talking about how, like, when this game came out, it's like, this game looks like a fucking old Assassin's Creed game. Like, the way it's made with the big checklisting and everything. And even the multiplayer, as a man who unfortunately played a lot of the Assassin's Creed Unity multiplayer, I was like, oh, this is like, they were going for the exact same thing. It's just these guys nailed it. Yeah. And Assassin's Creed multiplayer was not only bad, but barely functional at times.
What a game. Love it. Oh, yeah. What else did I play? I think that's it. That and Hades.
2
Is that
games.
it? Yeah, that's it. I gotta get back to Yakuza, but like, who's got time? I got Hades.
I got the
Hades and-
DLC for Doom
Yeah.
loaded up and ready for me when I get home tonight. So.
What is that story DLC? What I know nothing.
It is
about
story
it.
DLC,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think it's part
Story
1 of
DLC.
a 2-part story DLC.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so
The Infinity War of the
that's right. Yeah, biggest crossover event ever.
yes, Quake Man enters.
I'm very excited because that game was like a game that it felt like it took me 70% of that campaign to really feel like I was like, oh, I get it's all clicked. I can do everything. I know what's good against everyone. Everything's flowing well. This all makes perfect sense to me. And then the game was over before I got to kind of like it felt like I finally got to that point, and then I'm like, oh, now I'm done.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to.
And the last like 4 hours of that game do not feed into that like flow state of like I'm grapple hook and I'm because you're just fighting big boss enemies for a lot.
I
of
think
it
it does.
You
I think
so?
yeah. I think it's a much more hit and run. You're not killing. You're spending a lot more time running around killing little enemies and then getting your shots in on the big one as you're kind of constantly trying to escape. But it's still that never stop moving. And I remember the moment I got the meat hook shotgun was what changed the game because then you could just navigate so well by like using other enemies to pull you in. And I get what you're saying where it's not like you're not carving through everyone like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah.
But it was still very much like I'm using these enemies to get from where I am now to where I need to be with the ammo types that I need to land my 5 seconds of big damage on the guy. And then I'm going looping around because he's shooting scatter missiles at me and I'm reloading on other enemies and then shooting at him again.
Yeah.
So
Those big guys are fun. I was more referring to like the boss fights and
there's only
The
like there was only
fucking Marauders.
one.
goddamn Marauders.
There was only one. So it's funny because a lot of the things that you're calling boss fights end up being like, oh no, that's just the first time you fight that enemy.
Yeah. No, but
And
boss
then
fight,
there's-
I mean like health bar across the top of the screen. I mean like that big long
But it's the same thing. Like that guy who starts on like the hoverboard and
Yeah.
he's got the big horns and you have to kill his overshield and then destroy his board. Like you just end up
Just
fighting
cyber
2 of those
demons.
guys at a row in a time. And that guy was presented the very first time with a big health bar where you're like, oh
that in
shit, this is a
2?
boss. Yep.
Weren't those cyber demons in 1 also? And they were a boss.
The guy
in 2?
I'm talking about, I feel like is only in 2. I don't know
on
him
like
by name.
hoverboard, they got a shield.
Cyber Mancubus. I think that's one.
Which one's the Cyber Mancubus?
Oh no, the Cyber Mancubus is the one with the 2 arms.
Yeah, that's the canon
Yeah.
one. I'm talking like
He's
a
a
dude
prick,
on a
yeah.
hover disc. He's got a overshield
Yep.
you got to take down.
Yeah, I'm
those guys
pretty
in
sure
1?
those were only
No,
in 2.
those weren't in 1. I played
Yeah.
1. and I
Yeah,
remember
okay,
that.
all right. Because
Yeah.
they were definitely a boss fight, but I'm like, wasn't that boss fight in the first game?
And I remember that being like, oh, that was a cool boss. You like took down his overshield and then you broke his sled, his hoverboard, and then you
Oh,
did
yeah.
damage to him. And then you're like, okay, that was a neat boss fight. And then like later in the game,
Yeah,
just
they're-
2 of them appear and neither of them have health bars.
They're just
And
enemies.
you're like, oh, you're just enemies now.
Yeah.
Which is a terrifying moment at the beginning. But then as you make your way through it, you're like, man, all these upgrades that I'm getting are really making me feel way stronger because I can just deal with 2 of these guys in a fight.
Yeah.
And I remember dying several times trying to kill one of them in a boss fight.
This man's a real fucker.
Yeah. My least favorite were the guys with the fucking big axe and their eyes would turn green and you had to stun them in that.
Yeah, the Marauders.
Split second?
They're the
Is that the
absolute
Marauders?
fucking
Yeah.
worst. That was like
Yeah.
the enemy that ruined the game. We don't have to go back into this. That was the enemy that like ruined the game for me, though.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the like barrier in the middle of the highway that is doom, where you never stop running so fast. Here we go, and then all right, let's do this like carefully choreographed fucking parry fight.
Yeah. And then I remember the first time I got to the point where I was like, oh, I just stunlocked that guy. He barely
once,
even moved.
Once you told me how to do that,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this doesn't feel like the way they wanted you to do this, but at least I don't have to fight these
Well,
guys.
there's a lot. Like I did 90% of the game without doing that and just like barely getting by. And then by the end of the game, I was like, oh, I can just fucking. You're right. That might not have
Yeah.
been how they
I hate
intended
him.
for you
I
to
hate
do
him
it.
so much. I refuse to believe that something must have went wrong. You can't. Nobody sat down and was like, these enemies should be in the game like they are.
But they're good now. Like now I like fighting them. So I guess it's tough. I guess maybe it's just what you're into.
Personal preference, I suppose.
Because like now it's at the point where it's like they're like any other enemy where it's like, oh, these motherfuckers. I got the perfect recipe for what you're bringing.
I will say, the fucking grapple hook on the shotgun.
Yes.
It's maybe single favorite upgrade in
For any gun
a game ever.
Yeah. It's incredibly fun. Yeah.
And you can also eventually, I remember grappling and then shooting, and it would light them on fire.
Yep. That's also
And
an upgrade.
Just
yeah.
like, whoo!
I just love the
awesome.
like idea of like a bunch of enemies closing in on me where I'm overwhelmed, and then one of those big like fucking balloon balls up ahead, and being like, I'm just gonna grapple on out of here
Cacodemon
on this
away.
guy. Yeah. Oh, it's a great game. I'm truly worried that I'm gonna boot it up and be like, I've lost it. Like they need to give me like 2 hours
Start you
of like
slow.
learning again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Doom.
Lost the skills.
What's the name of that? Do you know the name of that
I can't
DLC?
remember. It's something part 1.
Any other games here for part 1 of this podcast, gentlemen? No, I'm seeing a lot of shaking of hands. All right. Let's take a quick bathroom break here. Or I suppose a musical break is what we call them.
Poo break.
Beans, the musical fruit.
Whoa.
And can't say poo on this podcast.
Shit.
Thank you.
Delete that one out.
See you here on the other side of this musical break.
Oh, think
It's too hot in here. This hot news section. Top story tonight. This is actually a little bit of an old story with a bit of an update here. But I didn't actually know this. Do you know Bethesda is apparently being sued for $100 million
Peanuts.
That's nothing.
for allegedly sabotaging the game Rune 2?
Why?
Rune 2.
Rune 2, yes. I will say I have both seen and heard of Rune 2 before this. It is a kind
It's one
of
of us.
top-down, let's say, but behind the back, like God of War action game style, kind of. Didn't look very good, but it had like
You know why?
Because it was
because it's
sabotaged,
sabotaged.
yeah.
We'll get to that. But has a like Viking aesthetic. I think the main character wears Viking helmet with like the curving down horns to the mouth.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
Very evocative of Skyrim. Also,
Sure.
right? You see that and you're like, oh, it looks like Skyrim.
I should buy that for my kids.
That's just here. So this was originally filed in December 2019. The publisher, Ragnarok Games, sued the developer, Human Head Studios, for intentionally abandoning the project on launch date, which they did. That game came out, and then the studio was like, our studio's closing, but please buy our game. And apparently they refused to turn over the source code, which I
Never go easily.
yeah, apparently. This lawsuit is now being amended. So I guess I misspoke, actually. Human Head Studios was being sued for $100 million. The lawsuit has now been amended to include ZeniMax and Bethesda Software. Softworks. Bethsoft is Bethesda Softworks, I think. Who apparently rehired the entire Human Head team the day it went out of business, renamed them Roadhouse Studios, which is part of... They are alleging that this was like a aggressive, conspiratorial cover-up and like shutdown.
It is an awful quick turnaround.
Because they wanted to protect Skyrim from Rune 2. The lawsuit alleges that Rune 2 was really going to eat Skyrim's lunch.
As a
in
man,
2019, also 8 years after this fucking game is out.
I would like to say, as a man who is firmly anti-capitalism,
Yes.
if I wasn't,
Fuck
this
capitalism.
just looks like good business.
Let's see here. So here's from the lawsuit. 2 weeks prior to the launch of Rune 2, ZeniMax secretly formed a new subsidiary. I like that it was secretly formed. This was Roadhouse Studios.
It seems like editorializing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
to me.
Roundhouse Studios. Pardon me, not Roadhouse. Roundhouse Studios was the name. And used that company to purchase all of Human Head's equipment and take over its leases. That equipment contained Plaintiff's trade secrets, the source code, and materials for Rune 2 and Oblivion Song, which was another game they were working on. Weird that there's also an Elder Scrolls game named Oblivion. But anyways, in that same time frame, in order to complete a de facto merger, ZeniMax arranged to have all employees dismissed from Human Head and rehired by ZeniMax. So, long story short, ZeniMax, this lawsuit alleges that ZeniMax basically went to Human Head and was like, hey guys, you should fold, basically. Y'all should quit. We're going to buy you out. Why don't you come work for us? Bring that source code. We need that. They can't make Rune 2, because if they make Rune 2, Skyrim is going to go under.
I can see it. I can see it happening.
Substantially little amount of confidence in their one of the biggest games of all time.
That's right. And the lawsuit mentions reviews that refer to Rune 2 as, quote, Skyrim on steroids, and that Bethesda felt their Elder Scrolls property was threatened. Go look up some game footage for yourself. Maybe it's just not for me. It doesn't look great. Rune and Rune 2 doesn't look great. certainly not Skyrim on fucking steroids.
It's one of those weird things where it's like, but it was like, was it supposed to be? And then they were like, we're fucking going
Yeah,
over to the
maybe
other
they
side.
knew-
Maybe we just shouldn't
maybe they
make
knew
it.
ahead
good.
of
Well,
time.
just think about how
Just-
good it
yeah.
could have been had they stopped, had they not abandoned the project. It would
It's
have been
true. So the game did launch, and then that day the studio's like, we're closing. Obviously, that means we're not going to support this game.
Yeah.
That's so fucked up.
And-
Seems like
and-
this lawsuit might have some legs.
It totally might, because
Yeah.
if they really did secretly rehire everyone, like, that's kind of
Yeah.
fucked up. Especially if you're Bethesda and like, Skyrim's gonna be fine, you guys. You don't need to do this.
That's
Skyrim
what I
is,
would.
like,
It's so
Especially
it's
it's
hard.
2019.
Yeah, it's hard to picture someone being like, "Don't let them make this game. It could challenge Skyrim."
yeah.
We have
Does
made-
Bethesda own this ZeniMax? Is that why
Yes.
they're in? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. ZeniMax owns Bethesda. I never remember how it breaks down, but ZeniMax and Bethesda.
Or, yeah,
Microsoft
they both
owns
came
them
over
all
in the
now.
Microsoft. Yeah, I wonder
Yeah,
what Phil thinks
I
about
never
all this.
remember. I never
Yeah,
remember how it
It's like,
breaks
this is
down.
fucked. Sell them.
Yeah.
Causing too much trouble.
Phil
That's why
just-
Bethesda sold.
Phil just gave him a,
We need those Microsoft lawyers.
Yeah, that's right.
Just make sure you get the source code.
COD, Black Ops, Cold War. Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War. That's this. That must be. Is that out? That must be out.
No,
What-
no,
not
it's a
yet.
November release.
Just
That's
a map, I think,
coming
Yeah.
soon.
is out right now.
Just the map? What?
There's like they're bolting on some part of the war
Zone.
battle
Warzone?
field.
The battle royale?
They're bolting on a
yes.
part of Black Ops
Okay,
onto
yeah.
Warzone.
And I think that might be in now, although
Oh,
I
I
have not
see.
played that mode.
Yeah.
But the game Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is not out until November the something.
Okay. There is a mode called Zombies Onslaught that is going to be a 12-month PlayStation exclusive, 1 year.
Oh shit!
This is not the main Zombies mode, which is it 5 players? I'm trying to ride. I don't know how COD Zombies works at all, but I think it's 5
It
players.
used to be 4.
Is it 4?
Yeah,
It
4.
might be
Okay,
5 now.
maybe it
I
is
don't know.
4. Anyways, 4 or 5 players, co-op zombies. That is going to be in there. What they say is the zombie narrative will be available for everyone. Onslaught is a 2-person, fast-paced co-op experience that drops participants, complete with their custom loadouts, onto one of several locations derived from Cold War's various multiplayer maps. So it sounds like it literally, and even reading through it, it sounds like it literally draws a circle on a map, somewhere on a multiplayer map, and it's like, this is the area you defend, zombies will spawn in.
Okay, that sounds kind of neat, I suppose.
Seems
Just
fine.
like the survival mode from Spec Ops, which was also a PlayStation exclusive, and turned out, who fucking cared?
I know,
Game was
in Warzone right now with the gas comes zombie hordes.
Yes,
Ongoing right now.
I have only
So-
experienced that through party chat with Warren and Andy playing.
Can you shoot them? Can they kill you?
Yeah.
That's
And then I think you become them, don't you?
I'm not. No, I think you
I
fight them
should
because
reinstall Warzone.
the gas. When the gas kills you, I think you become one. But
Right, that
you
maybe
can
is what
still
I'm thinking
fight
of.
them off
Yeah.
as you're running through the
that
gas.
sounds dope.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure, Halloween zombie. I love zombie versus not zombie modes.
I'm seeing lots of highlight reels of people opening up loot boxes because they've included jump scares in some of the loot boxes. So
Well, that's fun.
yeah.
Where am I here? This was your story. Why don't you take us through it?
Oh yes, the AI stress test of Baldur's Gate 3. Apparently, they've built a nice AI world tester. They called it
AI.
AI.
Yeah,
It sounds kind of interesting.
AI.
I thought they said Al.
Al.
Oh yes.
The world tester Al.
Yeah.
Yes.
I used to be a QA tester, and it does sound interesting.
Yeah.
The things they bill it as doing.
Seems like it'd make your guys' life a whole lot easier.
Yeah. So the way it went at. Well, I guess I'll go through this first. Makes a little more sense. They say that as soon as a new build of the game is done, the world tester takes a crack at it. The QA only gets their hands on it if it passes the world tester checks. It does things like open and closes dialogue trees. They say at light speed, but obviously very quickly. It can apparently simulate multiple hours of gameplay. Look
Who
for
are
things
you
like
to
memory
question
leaks.
the science?
Fair enough. And it can stress test these things of like the old kind of myth about QA, right, is that you just spend all day walking into every wall and see if it breaks. It literally will do that. It will literally walk into every wall and make sure that nothing is...
Run countless simulations.
That's right.
Yeah,
Really stress test the system. Which, when we were doing Dragon Age, there was a whole literal 60 to 80 people that did that every single day.
Mm-hmm.
There was a new build of the game, and every single day, a huge number of people had a checklist they had to go through of like, okay, does the main quest flags work? Boom, 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 yes. Do they work when I am holding these items? Boom, 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 yes. Like, there was a huge amount of just brute force testing every single day.
Wow.
And so much of it, too, was like, you would work on a build for like 8 of your 12-hour workday, and then hour 9 you'd find the build was no good, and all the work you did that day doesn't matter because they're gonna have to try again tomorrow because of this one thing. And like, this seems super interesting.
Yeah.
It is one of those things that I never once this was presented to me today, I was like, why the fuck they should have had this. And this doesn't seem like, as AIs go, it does not seem that complicated compared to like the AIs they're putting in fucking cars and shit.
Yeah.
Why didn't we have this a long time ago?
Apparently they did it in 2014.
Yeah, my question is, if they had it in 2014, what happened with Fallout? All those Fallout games.
Yeah.
Just
Well, so this
break.
is Larian's proprietary AI.
Oh, okay.
This is
proprietary.
You're
That's
not
right.
giving it to anyone. That's
This is something.
mean.
This is something they have built in studio.
Sell that shit.
Yeah, that's
They
why
should license
if they
all the
sold
Divinity
it?
games
Wow.
were so
Yeah.
perfect.
And Divinity. I was gonna say Divinity not without its bugs, but yeah, it's very cool. They also have a whole lot of talk in there about how like we're not replacing the QA. We still need. We're not. There's not robots replacing people. We swear.
Yeah.
But it's kind of
like when they
one day
yell
an
at me.
AI will do all that testing in a fraction of a second.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And this is just the test for the test of the AI.
That's right.
That's right.
Anyone watch these Doom videos? I watch them.
I have not seen these Doom videos.
It's
Pregnancy test.
It's amazing to me that Doom, like, back in the day, I remember loading up Doom on MS-DOS, and you had to have the best computer to run it, and now it's just running on everything.
Literally everything.
Yeah.
I didn't watch.
That's
What was it running on the moldy potatoes? I saw the potatoes. It was like a giant battery cell they
Yeah,
made.
so a guy I had in his garage, he set up just a battery chain of potatoes to try and run a Raspberry
like-
Pi with Doom on
Right.
it.
It was like 500 potatoes.
And it wasn't enough potatoes to power the pie, so he powered a calculator instead, and through the calculator he got Doom running.
Literally on
On the power of the potatoes, yeah.
Pregnancy test on the little digital
Yeah,
readout
little-
on the pregnancy
That's so
test.
fucked.
Somebody programmed the sheep in Minecraft to like change color to video output, and somebody's playing on sheep.
Yeah.
It's weird. I had it on, or no, I didn't have it, but I remember seeing it running on a TI-83.
Yeah.
And being like, man, imagine having this fucking going in school.
And that goes to show you like what you can do when big studio puts out their source code for their game. People will break it in so many ways and change it. That's the real Doom Eternal right there.
Yeah. Still playing it
Doom is
today.
eternal.
Yeah.
Here. Second potentially bring back the Dreamcast. You buried the lead. I'm going to tell you how to write a fucking real news story. Check this shit out. Check this out. Sega potentially bringing back the SG-1000.
Hell yeah.
Oof.
They just released the Game Gear Micro, only in Japan, I guess.
Yeah.
There's like a bunch of Game Gear. It's only one game per micro, right? Have you
Yeah.
seen them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because
Give me the one with Power Rangers fighting game on it.
There you go.
there Power Rangers in the Game Gear.
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe
yeah,
it is.
Put a
a-
Power Ranger fighting game on it.
2D fighting game.
Yeah, the brawler.
I think you'd fight as a Power Ranger, and then they'd get big, and you'd fight as the Megazord.
Oh shit!
Fucking A. If we're thinking of the same game, you would just start in your street clothes, then you'd have to morph. And you were calling in. Is this the same one for Super Nintendo? Did we already have a different game?
That's side scroller, like kind of a beat 'em up
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
The one I'm thinking of was just a fighting.
Oh.
You would only
Oh.
fight. It was one screen, two characters
Fighting game, ass fighting game.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if it was good. It came from a time in my life where all games were good.
Yeah. It was bad games didn't exist.
Yeah.
They just say for the next one, let's see here. They say, we may go with a concept close to the Mega Drive Mini. If I have to say some names, it could be an SG-1000 Mini or a Dreamcast Mini. Yeah, I might buy a Dreamcast.
I'm into it.
Power Stone is not as good as you remember it being, but
It's still great.
I would buy a Dreamcast one
Like some
because I've
Power
never had a
Stone.
Sega system.
yeah.
I would probably get a Dreamcast Mini. I would definitely get a Dreamcast Mini before any of the Nintendo ones they put
Yeah.
out.
A lot of... Man, they should do a Dreamcast Mini and they should let us play Seaman somehow. Give me a Seaman Mini. Let's fucking do it.
Let's go get a Tamagotchi.
I think you need a VMU. Seaman talks. You can teach him to talk.
Oh, Tamagotchis have to talk by now.
I don't know. See,
I
man,
think it's still a thing, right? Tamagotchi?
I think so. Yeah,
Totally.
you're
Yeah.
dating
Yeah.
yourself. Maybe, but we had like Digimon ones in school that I remember being so fucking stoked about.
You remember Nano Fighters?
Yeah. Yes.
I remember
Oh
those too.
shit! Do I ever?
I had a blue one.
I had a green one. My brother had a purple one. I remember the green one would never lose to the purple one. I never lost. Never lost.
My Tamagotchi would just shit and die.
Yeah, that's smart. My Digimon.
That's the
would
story
just-
of everyone's Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
Digimon would turn into poop. If you leave them too long, they turn into poop in canon. In Digimon canon, they turn into little poops. But Power Stone, great game.
I'm way into it.
Shenmue is on the Dreamcast.
And Phantasy Star.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Fantasy
there
Star.
were a
Yep.
couple good Fantasy Star games.
Spawn is a Spawn fighting game that in my memory was good, but probably sucks.
There was also, I don't know if you ever played it, was called Air Guys, and it was a fighting game with all of the Final Fantasy characters.
Not
And it was
really?
like a 3D ring style fighting game. Yeah,
Ooh.
No, never heard of that.
Cloud, Vincent.
The Spawn one was also a 3D
Yeah.
ring. There's a lot of 3D ring fighters on the Dreamcast.
It was a weird game.
AOC played Among Us. Does anyone want to talk about this?
Sure.
You put this on here.
That's-
I put it on because it was
Sure.
trending.
I had to
Yeah.
literally look up what her name was.
This is probably the most relevant news story that happened this week.
yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, probably.
Alexandria. I don't even know how to say it.
Ocasio?
Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah. I've only ever heard her referred to as AOC. The AOC. Yeah, she played Among Us and basically just encouraged people to vote. Which vote, please.
It was hilarious.
down
I
there.
watched probably about an hour of it.
Yeah.
She's
It's
like
it's obvious that she's a politician because she's just very, very charismatic. Even just watching her
Super
stream for the first
charismatic.
time ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really hilarious because every time there's a vote that comes up in Among Us, whenever someone would hammer their vote in, they'd be like, "I voted early. Voted early, guys. Just so you know, I'm already done voting."
There's also like this thing where like no one wanted to boot her out right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, we can't vote her out right at the beginning.
I don't know the story 100%, but I guess she made her first appearance on Twitch when she showed up on someone's. It was some kind of fundraiser for something. But anyways, I believe that person was the first one to kill her in Among Us, which I might be kind of
only
reporting
be
that
you.
story, but very funny.
We misreport most of these.
It's true. 435,000 concurrent viewers puts her in the top 20 biggest Twitch streams ever.
I heard that it was third overall, like
Damn.
third.
Ninja Drake still-
Ninja Drake was number one,
Yo, boy.
and something. I want to say there was something at number two, but I'm pretty sure she was number three.
Travis Scott, something.
Marshmallow.
Probably,
Or
yeah.
Marshmallow, some Fortnite concert. Yeah, 4.5 million views on her Twitch debut, which is
Huge.
yeah.
I
And
bet
she-
you like 90% of those people won't vote.
She was playing with lots of huge names, though, too,
Yeah.
right? PewDiePie and all them.
even if 10% of the people that wouldn't vote do vote, that's
a
good.
big- yeah,
that's good.
That's a huge
Please
turnout.
vote. Thrill to spill. Not thrill to
Okay, let's
spill.
start this podcast over.
Jesus, he's gonna like come out of the closet and suplex me.
Excuse me?
The fuck did you just say? Phil, the Thrill, Spencer, talked about an Xbox Game Pass Platinum tier this week, which is kind of interesting. We've been assuming that the price of Game Pass will at some point go up,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Just like Netflix and all these
Has to.
services seem to do.
Such a good
But
value.
I don't want it to go up so that I get a streaming stick.
Yeah. So he again, he talks very candidly in all these interviews. This is from an interview.
One of
with
our
Kotaku, I
favorite
believe.
things about him.
That's right. He seemed to indicate that he was talking about xCloud and like, is it cool that you just plug a stick in? You don't even need the hardware. You can play Halo Infinite, whatever. And he seemed to indicate that they might have a tier of Game Pass soon, a little bit more expensive, that would ship with a stick. It would be whatever it is, $20 a month or $30 a month. You would get a Roku stick and Game Pass. You just plug into your TV, away you go. You don't need to have an Xbox.
Fucking A. That's dope.
That sounds like the dream.
That is pretty sweet.
Yeah, the quote here says, I think you're going to see lower priced hardware as a part of our ecosystem when you think about streaming sticks and other things that somebody might just want to go plug into their TV and go play via xCloud.
This is kind of like a
I'm
rad,
actually-
how did no one ever bring this up idea?
I'm
Really
actually sorry. I think I might be a little mixed up here.
Okay.
I think Game Pass Platinum. So he did talk about that. Talk about streaming sticks. Game Pass coming to streaming sticks. Game Pass Platinum. He also talked about a new tier that would provide you guaranteed access to new hardware, which is the part that confuses me. Of like, is he just like, yeah, new hardware, you get the stick, or is this some kind of upgrade path? Which
We're bringing
guaranteed
the
access to
expansion
new
back
hardware. Yeah, like
in
Yeah,
64
do you,
days.
go in for this like $30 tier of Xbox, and then when the Series X.5 releases, whatever the next step up is, you get it because you've been paying for it, kind of.
Right, paying for it ahead of
Yeah,
time.
so I sort of kind of lose the thread of is Game Pass Platinum the stick that he's talking about? Is it
Yeah, I'm not
this-
sure.
this access to new hardware is a loaded statement?
Yeah. Well, I assume would they need a new controller for the streaming stick?
I
Probably.
don't know.
Well, I guess you could maybe like I don't know anything about technology, but maybe you could build the stick to incorporate current controllers,
Yeah, I think you do need a
or maybe you need a separate.
Because Google has the wireless controller, and that's how they're getting rid
The
of
Wi-Fi
latency,
controller,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So
not too
I
sure
wonder
with-
if Xbox has to go a
with a
similar
Wi-Fi
route.
controller to get rid of the delay.
too
yeah.
sure. But I mean, if that you wouldn't, I don't think you would phrase that as provide you guaranteed
Yeah,
access to
I
new
don't
hardware.
know.
That to me totally sounds like you pay a bit more, but when the half step comes out, you get the half step, whatever it is.
Kind
Or-
of sounds like the Ferrari premier deals. You can only get this Ferrari if you have this other Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
it
wonder.
just means that we'll put you at the top of the list if you want to buy
Yeah.
it for real.
Yeah.
provide you with guaranteed. Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. That'd be weird. I don't know. Who knows what it is?
Yeah.
Phil Spencer also commented on the what's his name, Minecraft Steve
Oh, yeah.
holding his dick
Yeah.
in the thing, saying, and I quote, "I assume someone will change that."
They took it out. They did
I
change
know
it.
they
What the
did,
fuck?
Patched it out.
but I think the interview was before the
That's
fact.
very funny that
Yeah.
they asked him, and also very funny that he commented.
Yeah.
I can't believe they took out that shit. I didn't even read that on news. They took out Steve's beef. What the fuck are we
Yeah.
even doing?
No.
Fuck that.
Big old dick.
Unplayable. Literally unplayable.
Yeah.
I came on here last week and talked about how I was so stoked about Steve and he looks so interesting and cool and like I wanted to get the character pass just to see what Steve was all about. Not anymore. Not anymore. I think.
Castrated.
If he's not stroking his beef at the end of that on his victory screen, what do you even? When can you stroke it if not at victory?
Right. It's all he's doing in the middle of the match or anything.
Yeah, he had. There's like a steak. I think I don't know what the Minecraft item is.
Yeah.
It's steak, but and you've seen Minecraft steak before. You know what it looks like. He just had it in his hand in such a way at the end of the match where like you know how the character kind of idly they just sort of move their arms back and forth when they animate. So he has this. Well, it looks an awful lot like the head of a cock, just like moving just in front of the screen in just such a way. It was. I thought it was very good.
I'm telling you, we sing our praises to Phil the Thrill Spencer on this podcast all the time. I like that Phil the Thrill Spencer is the kind of man that you could be like, we could ask him about the cock things. Well, we could totally, yeah.
I assume
Phil's
someone
cool.
will
We can
address
ask him about it. If I
that's-
was the head of Sony, people would be like, don't bring it up. No.
Yeah. No one in the world is going to ask Kaz Hirai. He's not
Yeah.
Sony anymore, but Jack Trenton. That's our news in a nutshell. Podcast at talkingreckless.com is an email address where you can write into the show. Nobody does. They usually just leave them on our Discord over. You can just go to our website, talkingreckless.com, click on the old Discord tab. And also, there is a tiny URL out there that I think is maybe it's tiny URL / capital T, capital R, lowercase Discord. Maybe that might send you somewhere. Don't do it on a work computer. Maxity wrote in here again, said, this can be the Discord. With 2020 reaching its end, what do you guys think would be a good finale to this disastrous year?
Are we talking like,
Kaiju!
is the question what could salvage this year, or what would be the most fitting end to
You can probably
a-
take it either way.
Yeah.
And when I read the question initially, I assumed we're probably due for some sort of terrible leviathan from the oceans to like, oh, we fracked too hard or whatever.
The new Titan threat.
Here we go.
Isn't that how Cthulhu got released in the South Park universe?
I haven't seen that one. That's how the Cloverfield monster came out and destroyed Cloverfield.
I think meteor's going to hit us, I think.
Yeah, that would be kind of a good one because it would just be like,
But Russia.
Neil deGrasse Tyson was saying there's supposed to be a nice flyby of a meteor soon.
Oh, shit. Well, so
Maybe where-
people just
Yeah.
landed on a fucking meteor
Yeah, a couple
Yeah,
a couple
I
days
read
ago.
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I wonder
and
if that's the same one.
that's like some landing on a meteor was like a huge feat of rocketry and space
Yeah.
engineering. I think.
Yeah. They said it like circled it for like months.
Yeah. And then
Just to try
I'm
to-
pretty sure when they landed, they only landed for like a fraction of a second or maybe
Did they
a
even
couple
land,
seconds.
or did they just like fucking arm?
Well, they technically, yeah, it was like
Just to get the picture.
It was it was a grasper that kind of
yeah.
came out of the satellite and grabbed onto it.
Yes, grabbed
But
a rock.
but it was grabbing on for a certain amount of time.
What if we landed on it? It will change the trajectory of that asteroid, which over space distances. What if we send that asteroid into somebody else's planet now? Because
We'll never know.
and they they track it back.
Sounds like
Sir Isaac Newton is the deadliest son of a bitch in space.
What if we saved it? What if it was gonna hit someone else's planet and we push it off
Nice.
course?
Then they'd probably never know.
Then we'd never know.
Yeah,
I mean, we're not gonna know anyway.
into collision.
As far
Maybe
as
that's
we can tell, there are no one's other planets.
That's what
so.
makes the aliens show up.
That's
Oh,
right.
we can throw them at Venus.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
There's
good
a big
point.
announcement about the moon. Also, the fuck do you think that is?
Yeah, that's always.
Oh
on
yeah,
this.
that's I heard about that one.
You should be required by law to give
There's
more
a-
information than that.
A moon base.
They just say we have a significant announcement about the moon that we'll make on this day.
It's going away.
It could be Vegeta
Yep.
blew it up.
Yep.
We're fucked. The landing was fake. It's time to. That would be the perfect finale to
That would be the
2020.
perfect finale.
Jesus, would that would that ever just
While we're
shake
just getting everything out there,
the foundations?
moon landing was fake.
Fuck me.
Maybe they're finally going to take a trip back there.
Sure, that'd be fun.
Rumblings are they think they might have found subsurface ice, which would be super interesting, super
would be cool.
fascinating.
So we can fucking go live up there.
Space is cool.
I think we've had this question on the podcast before, but if you could live comfortably on the moon, but it would only be like you and 7 other people, and you couldn't come back, would you do it?
7 on the green?
Do you get to pick the
Let's
7
say
people?
7. How many do you need?
Like,
If
You
it's
don't
like-
get to pick.
hold
How
on.
many do you want?
what's the umbrella? How many people to get you on the moon? Just say a number.
Yeah.
The question is, does Pauly Shore and Stephen Baldwin manage to sneak on?
That's the real question.
Well, I mean, it's always no if you don't go.
Right.
No, I wouldn't leave Earth. I'm a coward. Maybe. Ask me at the end of 2020. Honestly, depends on how on fire
So
this fucking place is.
my answer on it flips all the time.
Yeah.
And like those numbers were just off the top of my head, but like the idea of like it's a one-way trip.
Yeah.
You're gonna kind of go lay the foundation of a thing, and then you're gonna die. You're never coming back. Would you do it? And it's like, well, it'd be kind of nice to get out of here,
And it'd be a legacy.
and it'd be a legacy.
You know?
People would always remember you, and it would be like, you would think, because this is led by the space program, that it would be the foundation of something much better than where we've ended up here.
Might.
Right.
Has anyone watched that documentary about was it Challenger? Which spacecraft exploded?
yeah, I watched that
Where
one. Yeah.
that is so fucked.
It's
Where
so
like,
fucked. It's
Wow.
fucked
yo,
because
they knew about a lot of that shit and like politics and shit. Just
Yeah.
you so rarely
Oh.
get the disaster on camera. You like start rolling the cameras after the disaster,
Yeah.
and there's something so like chilling about the footage of people like looking at it as it explodes because
Yeah.
they have the reaction shot because they're like everyone's like, oh wow, look at it, and you can see their face change when it blows up, and it's just
is
like
that supposed to
oh.
happen? Yeah,
Oh,
it's super.
Just
I'm also
like,
watching because I watch every space show that happens on Disney Plus. They put The Right Stuff out, which is about the first guy into space.
Cool. Very
Is that a
cool.
Russian? Who's the first guy into space?
Yeah, it's
a
a
Russian.
Russian dude. Yeah.
Was it
Oh,
American?
it might have been the first American into space.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
The dog Leica. Well,
it's
the
a
boss was the first woman.
8 episodes about a
American.
dog.
Yeah. Yeah, space is so cool. We could go on all day. All day.
Yeah.
But
Alas.
what's the perfect finale? Honestly, that I love that the moon landing. They reveal the moon landing was fake.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
I'd love for something like
that would be the biggest.
super positive to happen.
God damn it! You think the flat earthers
Yeah.
are bad now? You think like anti-vax? Can you
no,
imagine if the moon landing was actually fake?
Yeah, we'd be screwed.
Like provably, undeniably fake?
yeah, like
Well, I think then
Neil
only the-
himself is
I
just
would
like
be-
I wasn't there.
I would turn into a
I
denier.
wasn't there.
I would turn into I would be the crazy one. I'd be like, no, the moon landing's real. We've been there. I know there's no air. We fucking been there. Anyone, any finales here for 2020 that...
Being the
I
Miyazaki
totally cut you off.
stan,
I'm
I'm
sorry,
only
Brandon.
hoping for some more
Brandon.
Elden Ring news. Maybe a Bloodborne
That'd be a good
remake.
one. That'd be a good
A
finale.
Bloodborne remake needs to happen. Driving me crazy.
Be harder.
They made Dark Souls. We didn't want Dark Souls. We wanted
you're right.
Bloodborne.
Yeah,
Come on.
they made Demon. Yeah. Let's call that show.
Never get what you want.
Ladies and germs. Podcast at talkingreckless.com is the email address, so you can drop these on our Discord. You find me on our website over at talkingreckless.com. Go check out our Patreon over at patreon.com/talkingrecklesspodcast. We have a longer version of this very podcast. You get the banter we call Tron, Talking Reckless or Natural. I don't even remember what we talked about on Tron today, to be honest. I usually give a little preview, but...
I think we talked about Hades.
There's a lot.
No, we definitely talked about Hades. I know I was like, no Hades on Tron. We'll say that for the show.
Talked about some movies.
Yeah,
Movies.
talked about some movies. I don't know.
Halloween.
You should go listen. It was like half an hour of I'm sure, good quality. Probably the...
Yeah, Halloween ideas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The fucking canon. That's right.
Feels like a mile ago.
Yeah, damn. Go check that out over on the Patreon. Also, we do a D&D podcast called Rolling Reckless. You can find that everywhere. Find podcasts invented near you. Just go give me the listens. Just go give me the views. Pump those numbers up on Rolling Reckless for me a little bit if you wouldn't mind. Nobody listens to that show.
Which is a shame because, boy, you guys spend a lot of time recording it.
Yeah. I mean, we just spend a lot of time playing D&D.
Sure,
And we
yes,
happen to record
yes.
it also. Yeah. It's very dope.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. Other than, Kevin Barr, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Except a half thank you because you were incredibly hurtful with your braggarting about Hades weapons. Mr. Beat it with every weapon. I haven't even beat it once.
I've been 7 wins.
7 wins in 25 runs. Brandon Lynch, thank you for being so humble, modest coming in here.
Only one win.
That's
more than
that's a good number. That's perfect. Yeah. Kyle Boruto? No, Butt Stuff. Kyle Butt Stuff. Thank you very much. I'll have to write down the beat at the beginning of the show so I don't forget.
That's right.
Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me again.
And to you at home, thanks so much for listening. We'll see you here next week. It'll be the next episode of the Talking Reckless podcast. See you then.